I don't know whether I sent it to you of the future. Now, we've been talking about foundations. And now last week I started on now foundational sins. So today I want to continue. Now, this last week was a general statement, a general explanation, I was making a statement on this subject of foundational sins. Now, today we want to begin to go into particulars. And I want you to understand it because see, people don't understand what Psalm 11 verse 3 was saying. See, that the foundation is fundamental to anything. That if the foundation is destroyed, nothing again works. That's what he's saying. Well, what can the righteous do? In other words, righteousness is of no effect. Can you believe that? That something can render even righteousness of no effect. Once the foundation has been destroyed, that is how terrible a foundational sin is. Once a sin has entered into a foundation, once a foundation layer are dabble into a particular sin, terrible sin, and judgment has been pronounced, it's dangerous to remove that thing from that foundation. Look at it. David, after sleeping with the wife of Bathsheba, the wife of Uriah, and then went ahead to commit murder to cover it up by killing the wife of Uriah. By killing Uriah. Now, look at what the prophet of God said when he went to him. The moment he admitted that he has done the thing, hear what the prophet said. He said, okay, because you have done this, the sword shall never again depart from your house. Sword will not depart from this house again forever. Did you see that? Have you ever thought about that? Forever. Did you see? Never. 2 Samuel chapter 12. Let me begin from there. Please turn your Bible to 2 Samuel chapter 12. You know the story because we are going far today. I want to bring out just this particular fact. And then I will show you from the history of the Jews how the sword has never departed. Just look at it. 2 Samuel chapter 12. And Nathan said, verse 7, and Nathan said to David, thou art the man. Thus said the Lord God of Israel, I anointed thee king over Israel. And I delivered thee out of the hand of Saul. And I gave thee thy master's house and thy master's wives into thy bosom. And gave thee the house of Israel and of Judah. And if that had been too little, I will moreover have given unto thee such and such things, including wives. Because under that dispensation, it was allowed. Please don't go and try plural marriage now. It's not allowed. We are in a different dispensation. Okay? We are working under an imperfect system, under shadows. And many things are allowed under shadow. Because I'm hearing there's a preacher now in Lekki now, a so-called Pentecostal preacher, and he's married to three women. Okay, one is taking over the choir, one is doing that, and so I don't criticize people. I'm just trying to. But when you now want to legitimize, get an experience as doctrine, you want to legitimize a personal experience and make it a doctrine to people, then we need to challenge it. That's not right. Okay, now if you say you have a problem with immorality and you cannot clean it, you can't stay, you continue, you have no power over your body, great. But to now want to legitimize and say there is nothing wrong with it, it is allowed, it is scriptural. No, that is not correct. Okay? Doctrine should legitimize experience. Experience should not determine doctrine. All right? Okay. So, wherefore, in other words, God said to David, I will have given you more and more of such things, including wives, if you have needed more, rather than killing somebody and taking his wife. Now, look at verse 9 now. Wherefore, as thou despised the commandment of the Lord, to do evil in his sight, thou hast killed Uriah the Hittite with the sword, and hast taken his wife to be thy wife, and hast slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon. Now look at verse 10. That's where we are going. Now therefore, the sword shall never depart from thy house, because thou hast despised me, and hast taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife. Did you see that? Did you see never in that place? That is the thing. That's the danger. That's the danger. So now here we see a foundation. We told you how we saw last week how God took that foundation away. In other words, because of the sin of Saul, because of the criminality, the thing, the evil that Saul did, the disobedience, he did not even directly kill any Jew people to take a person's wife. No. His own was affronted disobedience, deliberate disobedience. Because with God, listen to me, partial obedience is in fact worse than outright disobedience. For God to tell you to do something and then you do it partially, that is worse in the sight of God. In fact, it's better for you to disobey, not to do it, than to partially obey. What Saul did was partial obedience, and it's not acceptable to him. It annoys God. It's better you in fact disobey. God is like you are trying to deceive the Almighty, and that is you. I mean, you are trying to deceive the one whose eyes are all over the place. It is annoying. It's irritating. When Saul went to Amalek and destroyed the refuse, and many Christians today they live like this. You get it? They live in this sort type of life. Many of us. Okay? Saul destroyed the refuse. He destroyed the unnecessary, the one that are the useless things. Okay? And then they preserve the best and the finest for themselves. And said to Samuel, look, I have obeyed the voice of the Lord. We have destroyed everything, we've killed all the whatever. And even of what use is killing the people and sparing their king? Did you see that? Partial disobedience. Partial obedience. So, and God said to Samuel, I regret. When you read the Bible, you see there are only 2 times that word was used. In other words, we will still go to that one. Because we are looking at foundational sins. You will not understand the world today. You won't understand society today if you do not go into the subject of foundational sin and understand how certain error came into the foundation. Any society, you can't understand it. Heresies, errors. Even some of the things today we do in Christianity, some of the doctrines today that have been promoted, when you go into the history of theology, you will see how they came. You will see how those errors came. Foundation. And so, God now said to Samuel, I regret that I made this fellow king over Israel. Just like in Genesis chapter 6, when the sons of God and daughters of men intermingle, we will look at that too. And God said, I regret that I created man on the earth. It repented me that I made Saul king over Israel. Now, don't forget, this one was called to lay a foundation of kingship in Israel, of kingdom Israel. Now, look, here is the consequence. As a result of what Saul did, as a result of the act of disobedience, the kingdom moved completely from his tribe. Are you with me? Move completely from his tribe and move to another tribe. In other words, because of the sin of Saul, no Benjamite again can become king over Israel. Did you see that? No matter how much he fasted, no matter how much he prayed, because of a sin in the foundation. Because of a sin committed by a foundation layer. I said last week, I said if you are a foundation layer, by the grace of God, I'm a foundation layer. And I know that from the beginning. It's the reason for some of the sacrifice and the suffering I've endured. And I'm glad to do it. So as a result of what Saul did. And there are times today in Yoruba land, in my own hometown. Thank God you don't know my hometown. In my own hometown, there is a compound. This is the story. Listen to this. Very good. God, this thing will come. It's in fact corroborate what I'm teaching on today. In my own town and all the surrounding towns, they are a family of towns. Okay, it's just like you have today the Abeokuta Egbas now. I always make illustration of Abeokuta because I have many friends from there. Now it's like you have Egbas now, very good. Okay, now but you also have the Owus, you also have the Akes, you also have the Baguras, also have the Okionas Egbas. You understand? Now all this we call themselves Egbas, and that may be right. But you see, there are distinctions. You can call them a family. We know the story of how each of them came into that particular. Okay, so we also have a company like that about towns in that our area. Okay, different towns, but they all descended from one. I mean, it is even by the name of the town. Okay, I mean you will know that they are all Isin, Isanlu Isin, Ijara Isin, Okeonigbin Isin, Iji Isin, Owu Isin, you know, like that. I mean they all from now. In my own particular town, which is among one of those towns I've mentioned, in my own particular town, something happened in the long generation, and the ancestors pronounced a curse. We know this. Okay. Now, because of the intermingling and the miscegenation, there has to be cross marriage because they are all families. A particular compound in our town, okay, it did what we may call a betrayal, a treachery with another town. As a result of that, the ancestors, I mean, the fathers of those that they met and say, because of what this compound has done, which is treachery to us, nobody from this town become a king over this town. And they made this thing, and they did all the thing. In those days, there was no mercy. They called the herbalists, they pronounced all the curses. We were told all this thing. Pronounced all the curses, they did all the sacrifice, say, whoever, not just only whoever make him the king, but whoever assisted in making anybody from this compound a king over this town, this and this and this will happen. Now, people of God, please follow me. God, a lot of times, people take risks that are not necessary. In fighting over what is even kings, how much are they paying them? Yeah. You got it, pay over thing, and they risk their life. You got it. Now, this is what now happened. And because people are aware and saw these grievous causes, nobody dare make them. But this compound too is the largest in the town. They are the strongest. As education and enlightenment came, they too began to have and began to clamor. No, they say, look, the ancestors have led a cause. And they say, forget about which ancestor, which cause. Are you talking like that? And anyway, in essence, they want them, but they say no. So finally, one person from that compound became he's a rich man, somebody moving with Dangote. In fact, I was told Dangote came the day was to show how big he was. He came to the town. So they eventually make somebody, use his connection with governor, with whatever, and so on and so on. And they made him king in the connection with the other king. And they made him king. Now, this is where I'm going now. Since that time I have not traveled to home for many years, for more than 30, 40 years. But I get report. I mean, I went to minister in Ilorin. The people they tell me what is happening. Now, here is the thing. Here is the joker. I'm talking about foundation now. See? Okay? So, since that time that they have made this even and changed the cup that the fathers have laid, those ancestors have laid, youth have been dying that time. Not just from that compound alone, all those who also assisted. And my brother was telling me, who is an honorable in the town, who used to be politician. He said began to watch and he began to list young people, people of their prime, people in their prime, people who have war, who still have children, who are in the top of their career. I was told now of another professor now from that same compound now where they are floricking. He has also been struck now. He cannot talk. If you want to do anything, we will only write it down. He can't talk. Factually, everyone. And before you know it, there are all those who help in installing that from that compound, one by one by one by one. The death is now so much. You get it? Why? Well, of course, that is thing will not happen to somebody like me. It won't happen. They are course. But then, what's my business with tradition? Jesus has well let the dead bury their dead. I also won't get involved in that. So the issue is this. These people thought that what the father said, what the foundation there is immaterial because they are educated, they are enlightened, and those people are not kidding. And now, those courses are what? Why? Because the foundation bear you. You didn't bear foundation. You are a product of your ancestor. And the ancestors are not a product of you. So their words is binding on you, except you are connected with Christ to counter that. Unless you are linked with a higher power, which is God. Because Christ has redeemed us from all costs, any whatever, he has redeemed us. Being made a cost for us, Christ is the ultimate sovereign, is the ultimate remedy. But outside of that you are alone because you are trusting one education, and you are a professor, the cost of the ancestor will bind you. You are still trapped. You are a member of that town, of that community, of that collectivity. So you are part of their foundation. So whatever they pronounce is binding on you, except you are access to another, which is God. And that has been the situation now. Prominent people die at the prime of their age. You just see a great man, rich man, one who was even my classmate, very rich classmate, we were classmate second. And I asked, where is this? They say he's dead. Like that. I'm still taking the time to pray and see which role God will want me to play. He has told me some time ago that I should do a 3-day crusade in that town. Okay, and I've been thinking about. I've tried to talk myself out of it. Get it? And pray myself out of it. Get it? Huh? But now, this is the thing. So I'm talking. So please, anything that has to do with foundation, be careful. Be careful. What Saul did affected every other thing. Whatever that person did in that compound that made the others to come together. The other compound, the other ruling has to come together and say, because you betray us to another town, no, this and this and this again. And anybody who chose a king from this compound, this will happen. No, you see the thing. In those days, in the day of slavery, let me tell you another secret. In the days of slavery, do you know why they usually shot before they sacrifice people? In those areas where they commit human sacrifice, do you know why they usually padlock the mouth? And even slaves, do you know why they padlock their mouth? Do you know why? Because it is known spiritually that whatever a person speaks, any word, any curse, any word, any curse, utter in the agony of the heart is effective. It's effective. That's why in those days, when the woman is traveling in labor, the elderly woman in Yoruba, they will surround him. They'll be comforting so that it does not, in the agony of that thing, causes so much, because if it does, it will happen. When a man or a woman is going through an agony, is going to, and he pronounced a curse in the bitterness of his heart. There is nothing as effective as that. And that's why in those days, in the day of slavery, they padlocked the mouth of slaves. That's why before they sacrifice women in those days, in the areas that where they sacrifice, like Ife, like Benin, like Jebula, they will padlock their mouth so that at that time of anger, they will not curse. Because if they do, it will happen. I told you a case last week of the man who said, and they kicked it down. And that thing happened. It's still happening that time. So the word ancestor pronounced that day about that thing, it happened. It was a foundation. What God pronounced again, what Saul did, that caused God to pronounce that thing, happened over with Benjamin. Benjamin should have been ruler. I don't have the time to decode that why it was so. But Benjamin should have been ruler. Because of all of them, he was the one who was never born in slavery. You know, all the other children were born in the house of slavery. From Reuben to Joseph, they were born in slavery. Benjamin was the one who was born out of labor. He was born when his father was free. Benjamin should have kept that kingship forever. But because of what Saul did, a foundation of unrighteousness, that was laid, the kingdom moved. The glory moved from that part. It moved from that region to another region. So David, because of what he did again, as a new foundation was being laid, but then he again polluted it with unrighteousness, with murder. And now again, you see now, bloodshed enter. And if you trace the history of Jews, if you trace the history of Judah, whatever, okay, from David upward, you will always see war. You always see bloodshed. You always see the sword. The sword never departed. Even till today, the sword has not departed. Because a foundation, and this is what Sam was saying, if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? Righteousness is supposed to be a remedy. But if a foundation for righteousness exists, that is why you will, if you read the book of Ezekiel, God pronounced some places, say, even if such men, even if these men, Moses, Samuel, or whatever, or Job, if they are living in this city, they will only deliver their own soul by their righteousness. You will read the expression like that in the book of Ezekiel. In other words, those society have run their course. Judgment must fall. So foundation matter. Now let's see another. In the book of Genesis chapter 6, please open to it. Foundational sense we are looking at. Genesis chapter 6. Genesis chapter 6. We all know this story. And if you read my book, The Mark of the Beast, I wrote some series of essays which are compiled together in the book, Mark of the Beast. Now, you cannot understand the word as it is. And it is essential to know how the word works and to understand the word. But you need a bit of historical background. And one of the important things you need to know about fact, reality, you must understand in Genesis chapter 6. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God, now the sons of God mentioned there, not necessarily the son of God like I am the son of God. No, that's not it. The sons of God mentioned there, okay, extraterrestrial beings. In the book of Antiquities, that's how they are usually called. They are called sons of God. That is, those who are not of this materiality, who are not from this plane. Okay? Sons of God. People from another realm. Extraterrestrial beings. Okay? They came down and saw the daughters of men, that they were fair. When you read other translation, this King James said that they were fair. Others translations say that they were fair extensions. In other words, they were proper extension to extend their race. And they took them wives of all which they chose. Did you see? Now, this is miscegenation. Because God expects that we should marry of our own kind. Are you with me? Of our own kind. Human to human marriage. Yes, you can marry an Igbo woman because you are still talking about woman to human. You can marry her to Hausa. Okay, and Ekiti can marry Ijesha. Ijesha can marry Egba. You are still talking of human to human. Even you can marry a white. It's still human to human. Human to human. But when we are talking about sons of God now, people from another planet, without father, without mother, people from another realm, angel can appear as human being. They can take the form of human. It is human who cannot take the form of angel because they are larger. So they take on the form of woman and they appear as human beings. And as we begin to see in the end time, one of the mysteries, one of the great battles, please read my series of essays on the last battle. And one of the great conflict of the last age is that as these people, because Revelation chapter 12 is going to come to pass to the letter, there was war in heaven. So very soon, Satan will lose his last dominion in the second heaven. He will lose his last dominion in the second heaven. Eh? And when he lost that dominion, it descends in the heart. Then you will see many of these things, they will come down physically. We will see them, they will live here. Okay? Before they are finally cast out from here to here, it's a descent. You see, after pride, when pride came into Lucifer's place, he fell first of all from the third heaven. He fell to the second. The next one that is going to happen, he will fall from second heaven to the heart. And then finally, when Christ comes, he will fall from the heart to the hellfire and lake of fire. It's a descent. It's a descent. It's not an ascent. Okay, and I want people joining secret society or whatever. I'm only alignment with Satan, with the powers of darkness, with whatever. It's not ascent. You may think you are getting position here on earth. You may think you are rising to the, but ultimately it's descent. It's not promotion, it's demotion. So the sons of God came and they took daughters of men. Okay? And it is at that time that Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive again with men because it's flesh. And then look at verse 4, only there were giants in the heart in those days. This is how the origin of giant. And this is the reason why God had to send the flood. And while the original word of Adam perished, because it was so bad that by chapter 7, the violence was so much, the corruption was so much, that only Noah and his children were found worthy. Think about that. From all the generation that came out of Adam, by chapter 7. So between chapter 3, when God created man, when chapter 2, when God created man, and chapter 3, when the serpent came, and then between chapter 3 and chapter 7, out of the generations that came from Enoch, that came from Lamech, that came from Methuselah, that came from all of them, only Noah had not corrupted himself. We're talking about all enveloping corruption. They had made a clause of marriages. Angels are married to men, and then they have corrupted the seed. The seed, there is a corruption of the seed. Just as it is happening now today. Where I went to charge my phone yesterday, please learn to listen to people. I was listening to the argument as the people, as they were arguing and they were talking, and I got one or two things. Learn to listen to people, common people. They say a lot of things at times, good things that make sense. And they were telling me things that I've never heard. You get it? Things I've never heard in this nation. And they were talking about Yahoo, Yahoo, about occult money. And they were mentioning names. These were people who work with you. And this one will say, I know of this. These are people telling me real story. So the trouble today now is this. There is also miscegenation now going on. There is serious attempt now to corrupt the seed, to corrupt the holy seed. Because Satan knows that the most effective way to destroy a system, the most effective ways to destroy, whether it is the church, whether it is whatever, is to first of all corrupt the foundation, corrupt the root of the system. When I read about into history and what happened is in 1930, 1940, 1950, 19, and I look into those same churches today, you can't see trace of them. And it is amazing. It is amazing that some of these things happen. And when I read the literature, these things were printed by somebody here in 1930, 1940, 1950, in 1960, in this same nation. That a pastor from this church wrote this, knew this far much in 1950, in 1940. And now I look at into the same denomination today. And all I see is just, is this amazing. So here, the sons of God corrupted the foundation of humanity. As a result of this, God, because at the rate it was going, God did not ordain that man and angel will meet together as husband and wife. No. He just as did not ordain that man will be married to animal. We are in higher classes of being than animal, than goats, than dogs. It is criminal, it is bestial for a woman to lay down, for a dog to get it. No. We are of different classes. No matter how friendly a dog is, it's still a dog. It's still a dog. We are of different species. It is man who should meet with woman, human to human. Angels have different, in their own realm, there are no marriages. That's how God ordained it. But this one fell. And when you read the book of Enoch, God sent his angelic police after them. And they arrested all of them, 200 all of them, led by Semocha. And they arrested all of them. But then, how about the seed they are thrown into the womb of women? Yes, they are arrested because they cannot die. Don't forget they are angels, they are immortal. But the havoc they have done, they have slept with women. They have projected something to women. And by the law of procreation, once something enters into a woman will multiply it. Their nature, they are built like that. Whatever comes into them, they multiply. So the sperm must become something. So they gave birth to giants. And these ones became the men of renown who built some of the ancient things that we saw in the old world. And when this water came to sweep all of them, with some of them still survived because there were still giants after them. You see, foundational sins are difficult to correct. They are difficult to root out. And even as we see today, there are giants. Although because DNA, because of in biology, there's what they call oh, I missed this word. I can't remember this one. But there is this word in biology. Even if you look at these guys, Darwin's selection, natural selection. You get it. There is a particular word I need, and I'm missing it. Okay, in other words, what the essence is this: things decline. Okay, whether it's there, whatever. I mean, if you look at it today, if you check your father and your forefather now, you will see that there are certain things. Intellectually, you may be above them, but in terms of manliness, you will see that it's declining. So as time goes on, the giants began to. That's why you don't see any woman being today that is still 3 story tall. Unlike in those days, unlike in the day of the giant of the day in Genesis chapter 6, they were far higher than the giant in the day of Moses that Caleb and School saw. So as time goes on too, they too began to reduce. Until today, they are now normal like human beings. We're of the same size. So you don't really know. It is when the majesty comes, when Christ is come, and when what is inside people comes out, that you will really know of what substance a woman, a certain people. And that is why I say most good and bad have been sown. But it is on the harvest time, which is at the end of the world, when Christ is come, that then those things will begin to manifest. Now, by Genesis chapter 7, God found only one man out of all that generation that has not been polluted, that has not corrupted the foundation that was laid in Adam. That was Noah. And is the only one who was preserved. Now, look at how a man, we're talking about foundational sin, but then there is also foundational righteousness. Somebody can choose a foundation. Noah too was a foundation layer. The word of Adam was destroyed. But then Noah did something. Okay? He laid a foundation of righteousness. And as a result of that, God did something. It was because of Noah and the covenant God made with Noah that God said again, never again will the heart perish. No matter what happens, even if there is a nuclear war, not everybody will perish. Because of the covenant he made with Noah, because he laid the foundation of righteousness. So you can lay a foundation of righteousness. And the Lord said unto Noah, come down and all thy house into the ark. For thee only have I seen righteous before me in this generation. Now, after going to the ark and coming out, look at it. And Noah went in, and his son and his wife, and took off the grate. Then the flood came. But then, after they came out of the ark, this is where I'm going. Chapter 8, verse 22. Verse 20. And Noah builded an altar unto the Lord. That is, after God wiped out everything. And now they were beginning afresh. And they came out of the ark into a new world. Now, see the foundation that Noah laid. You can lay a foundation for your family. You can lay a foundation of righteousness. It does not matter what has happened in your generation. It does not matter what your father did or what your grandfather did. You can start a new foundation of righteousness. And it's going to impact on your children and your children's children. You can break the chains. No. There is no way my children will suffer what I've suffered. Never. Because I've laid the foundation. No, are you telling me? No way. That all the years I've sacrificially followed the Lord. The God I serve is not a fool. The God I serve the rewards, it does not forget. And the God I serve does not owe any man. So it is essential. You can lay a foundation of righteousness. See what Noah did. And Noah builded an altar unto the Lord, and took of every clean beast, and of every clean fowl, and offered burnt offering on the altar. And the Lord smelled, verse 21, and the Lord smelled a sweet savour. And the Lord said in his heart, in his heart, in his heart, in his heart. When the Lord regretted for making man, he did not say it to anybody. He said it in his heart. You get it? And again now, the Lord, because of the action of one man, and the Lord said in his heart. I will not again curse the ground anymore for man's sake. For the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I again smite anymore everything living as I have done. Because of a foundation righteousness that one man live. God said, never again will I strike man in its entirety as it has happened. There is now more wickedness in our day than in the days of Noah, than in the days before the flood. Oh, they were killing people. Did you hear of the terrorists who took a child from a woman and fed it to beast? Did you hear that? Did you hear of the terrorists who killed it right before the mother, killed it and drank the blood? These are the beasts your government is protecting. People that they should send higher assassin after and kill and destroy all of them. Beasts that they are protecting. The word of Noah did not do worse than that. The word before Noah, before the flood, did not do more than that. Tell me what happened in that day that is not happening now. And God wiped out everything. But now a man laid a foundation, is a foundation layer, starting afresh again, a new world. And the very first thing he did, because in the beginning, God must be at the beginning. Noah knew that. If it is not at the beginning, then it is not God at all. It must be at the beginning, or it will not be there at the middle and at the end. You must bring him in at the beginning. He must be your foundation. For no man, there is no foundation that any man can lay, which is Christ, as we read. If Christ is not at the foundation, then he's not in the house. He must be there at the beginning. In the beginning, God made heaven and earth. In the beginning, God. If it is not in the beginning, it's not God. It won't be at the middle and at the end. So Noah laid the foundation. This is one good example, if seen in the Bible, of a foundation layer who began in righteousness. Even Adam did not do that. Noah laid the foundation. He did what Adam refused to do. And God said, because of this, for your sake, little things that make great difference. He sacrificed unto the Lord. Little things. Neither will I again curse the heart. Neither will I again smite anymore every living thing. Please, don't forget it. Stop worrying yourself. That one that thought nuclear war will destroy everybody is not going to happen. It will not happen. Jesus will come and meet people on this earth. Nothing again will happen that will wipe out everybody. It will not happen. It will not happen. No disaster, no àjàkálẹ̀ àrùn or whatever, or epidemics, whether it is packaged in the library of, in the laboratory of the New World Agent, and what I know they are doing things like that. They want to reduce woman population. Yeah, it is real. Biochemical warfare, no matter how much they try it, and Satan, their father, helped them, the whole heart cannot be destroyed. When Christ comes, he must meet people on heart. God said, I will never again smite the heart. And then look at verse 22. While the heart remaineth, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. So as long as you put something on the ground, as long as this earth remains, you must reap a harvest. Because of what Noah did. Because of the foundation of righteousness that he laid. Because of a foundation of immorality that David did. Look at what happened. Sword did not depart. And I tell you today, Jews are still being killed. As they too are killing people, they are also being killed. Because of foundation of disobedience that Saul did, the kingdom moved from Benjamin. Though nobody from that tribe again was enthroned. And now, because of a foundation of righteousness that another man laid, blessing came to the heart. Now, look at chapter 9, verse 1. And God blessed Noah. That is after a smell of his sin. And God blessed Noah. Be careful what to do with anointed people. God blessed Noah. The thing touched the heart of God. The thing touched the heart of God. Listen to me. All the cars that I've used till this present one, they were given to me by people. Okay? They were given to me. I said, see, you are doing a great work. In those days, I traveled a lot because I was doing research and I would carry books along to branch in bookshop and whatever and give them and drop them there. Because I'm doing a ministry. I'm a foundation layer. Apostolic Christianity must not die in this land. If you see all the books I've written, it is with one purpose in mind. To justify the ways of God to men. To emphasize the validity, the faithfulness of God. To defend apostolic Christianity as I'm an apologist. So I got to this town that day. The guy, and he said, hey, you came again. A lot of that in those days, I could carry 3 or 4 bags if you see me on the road. One is with my files and whatever I'm doing, another with bags of books. I carried them. And this man of God, in general of myself in church, I usually stay in his house whenever I'm in that town. And he saw me say, man, you are not good. The trouble is this. Listen to me. Listen to me. A lot of time, the people who follow us are the people that we do not expect. Whereas the people you expect to follow, to appreciate what you do, they are the ones who don't even have to understand it. Are you really? I went to Abuja one time to speak. I carried some whatever. And when the man saw me, well, he began to say, even though I was really sick that time, I should be resting. I still went. And when this man, a careless man for that matter, when he says, sir, you shouldn't have come. You shouldn't have come. You should just have sent these books and whatever. Send it to somebody who pray and send the money and whatever. You shouldn't have bothered. I can see that you are not well. That was in those days, years ago. I can see you are not well. And then he made a statement. This is a careless man. He made a statement, say, sir, we cannot afford to lose somebody like you. This is what a careless man said. No Pentecostal have ever said that to me. He said, we cannot afford to lose a person like you. I said a lot of times, I think it was Ora Robert who said, he said, friendship is wherever you find it. Because you will find it in places where you do not expect. I am always shocked the way they treat me in kindness. The hero welcome they give to me, the kingly welcome, the celebration. And this is an organization where I've written only one book about their family. Only one. And look at all the books I've written in relation with apostolic, CAC, and whatever. See. And some of the discouraging comments I've had there from among them. So this Geo told me, I said, the way you are going, you are not going to, you are laboring too much. No. Please, something else. We have to get a car. The work you are doing is for the entire church, the entire body of Christ. We cannot afford it. This is a man. I'm not a pastor in his church. Think about that. We cannot afford to lose somebody like you. You must have a car. You can't continue to go like this, carrying all these things. No. And I even laughed because I thought he was just making jest of me. But the next day, they called me. They called me some months later and said, come and see, the car is ready. I was so shocked. Now I'm going somewhere, people of God. You see, I'm saying something here. God said he blessed them because what Noah did touched him. The sacrifice that he did touched him. The sacrifice of that man touched me. That somebody thought I was over laboring my body, that I needed a car. I was touched. That somebody was thinking about me. I was touched to the heart. And when the prophet or an apostle want to bless you, even though this man is a man of God, you see there are levels. When the prophet or an apostle want to bless you, there are ways they do it. And when they want to curse you too, there are ways. And I took just $100 bill. I went and got $100. I changed money. I took $100 bill. I said, sir, for this thing you have done, I want to bless you. Phew. Now, what that man had not been able to do for years, those that have been locked on him for years. You get it? As a result of that thing, opened that day. Not just to him, but relate to even all his children. They're on another level because of that thing. See, God's heart was touched by what Noah did, and God pronounced a blessing upon man. Now, I'm going somewhere. The Bible says God blessed Noah, and God blessed his sons. The three sons that he had, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now, because God blessed this thing, because I need to clear this thing once and for all today. I'm talking about foundation. When you read the next verse, you read the passage again, you will see how Noah, because the fall, the effect of the fall was still in the heart. You get it? The original cause had not been removed. It's still in the heart. Christ had not yet died. His blood had not yet reached the heart to remove that cause. So the cause was in the heart. So when Noah planted in the garden and he took up the fall, he was drunk. You got it? Because the effect of the cause was still on the heart. And before Noah knew it, he was naked in his stuff. You got it? And Ham mistakenly entered. Now, there's nothing wrong because he entered, he didn't know. He entered unknowingly. I'm talking about foundation. And when he saw his father's nakedness, the next thing is, without even telling anybody, there are things that people should not hear because it's your father. I've told you a story here on this platform. I said the very first man I worked with as an engineer, very brilliant engineer. But you see, I mean, as any normal unbeliever, most engineers that I know, guy, we love women. A guy, I don't know why. So one night, the one of his sidekick, you call them today, or the other woman, or whatever, came to the office. And they were doing what they were doing. The guy, I was in my own office too, and whatever. We usually stay late because of work. We usually, after all the other staff have gone, we still stay. Me and we walk and walk. So, and when he finished with his woman and whatever, he got it. We began to go home. I dare not challenge because it's my boss and it's not my business. And I now by the next day I begin to tell any other member of staff. No, I didn't tell anybody till today. You got it? That's his nakedness. You got it? That's his nakedness. I must cover it. I must cover it. One of the topmost Geo in this nation. You all know him. very important Jew, very divine. The one, if you name two in the toughest, one of the top gave a check one time in connection with Busa supply to the bush. And I took the check, and I mean, because they have obviously, the people working with him, they have defrauded the account. And the check bounced. I still have photocopy of not once, not twice. Okay? This is why I usually laugh whenever I raise issue about this ministry, about ethical. I mean, when I raise issue about doctrine, people say you are trying to ridicule, you are trying to bring him, you are trying to get it's not right. Maybe you could have called a private this one, whatever. You are trying to embarrass, and I laugh. If I want to embarrass this man, I have document that I could have long ago. I could have used to embarrass them. That I have. Ready made with his signature. Clearly there. It is not my knowledge to show the nakedness of anybody. Nobody ever hear you from me till today. I just kept it. Because it's not, I know they betray him. The people he put in that thing, they emptied their account, and he wasn't aware. But the reality is the check was returned unbounced. I'm not interested in showing the nakedness of anybody. No. If you ever see me mention the name of me, then you know that that person or that player has said something that is trying to damage the truth, that is to affect the entire body of Christ. I'm concerned about that. I don't like people. It's not my business. I'm not anybody's judge. Now, Ham did a mistake by going to broadcast, leaving his father like that, and going to broadcast to the other children. It's wrong. It's not done. Even in the Oriental world, it's not done. As a result of that, the other two children, Shem and Japheth, they took garment and covered their own father. They came backward and covered their own father. And immediately, the thing came out of his drunkenness came out of him. You know, Noah is an anointed person. He's blessed. They tried and they knew immediately or consciously knew what his son has done. Now, this is where I'm going. Because a lot of narrative has gone that Africa is caused because of Ham. That these are some of the things, racist theory, racist biblical theories. You will see this in Scofield Bible or Dakes. He put it there like that. These are the things that have been used to justify slavery of Africa. You know, when you want to destroy people, you must first of all create an alibi. And it is good when you use scriptures. These are the manipulation of the scripture. Theological manipulation. And say that, you see, God has already caused Africa. So their resources belong to us. We can exploit them. We can enslave them. You can see. Now, but look at it. When Noah was about to pronounce curse, he did not curse Ham. Why did he not curse Ham? It was Ham that did. He cursed Canaan. He cursed Canaan. He didn't curse Ham. Why did he not curse Ham? He said, curse be Canaan. A servant of servant shall he be. Blessed be the same. Blessed be Japheth, and Canaan shall be their servant. So he cursed Canaan, he didn't curse Ham. Why? Because Genesis chapter 9 verse 1, God blessed Noah and his sons. And whom God has blessed, no man can curse. Noah knew that. So for the sins of Ham, he cannot even curse him because Ham was already blessed by God. Africa is blessed. It was Canaan, the grandson of Ham, that was cursed. Not Ham. So Africa is not cursed. Please. Because many people too believe that, because of the Amity curse and whatever, and all those narratives, get false narratives that are neither sound nor scriptural. Ham is not cursed. It was Canaan that is cursed. And Canaan was the land of Canaan. Canaan will have been destroyed. Africa did not descend from Canaan. Now, this is where again I'm going. Because of what Ham did, a foundation of iniquity was introduced to his foundation, and a curse was pronounced. A foundational curse. But it was pronounced to his seed. Why? Because a blessing had been pronounced on his head by God. And whom God has blessed, no man can curse. So Ham cannot be cursed. So if we are from Ham, we are blessed because God blessed Ham. He blessed it in Genesis 9:1. He blessed Noah and his sons and his 3 sons. He blessed them. So Africa is blessed. Stop believing that Ham is whatever because the cause of Ham. If you read Scofield Bible commentary or Dakes, that's how they put it. Well, this is how white people, racism, they introduce it into the Bible to justify a system of iniquity, a structure of iniquity, of slavery and exploitation. No, Africa is not cursed. Black race is not cursed. Black race is blessed. In fact, the original man, there are no evidence the original man is black. I'm still compiling I will make these reports clearly, both from science and whatever. I've not had time now because I'm still doing some things. I want to publish, let this bad day thing get out from, and then I will be free. I will release some things to the world. Okay? Because we have learned some things have been covered up. And they will be soon be released. Black was not cursed. Black was blessed. His land is blessed. So because of what Ham did, because Ham was also a foundation layer of a race of some generations. Curse entered into some of his seed, and they had to be destroyed. You will see what so much did Canaanite, the Jebusite, the whatever, what did they do so much to that level that God had to wipe them out completely. That their cup had to be full for God to wipe them out, for Israel to take place. It was because of the call. He has said it that Canaan shall be their servant. It will be servant of Japheth and Ham. It will be servant to their children. It will be servant of servants because of what the father did. The fathers have eaten so great, and the children's teeth are set on edge. Did you see that? Foundational sins. Please be like Noah. Lay a foundation of righteousness. Don't be like Ham. Don't be like David. Don't be like Saul. Don't lay a foundation of iniquity for the sake of your children, for the sake of your seed. Let me mention another one before we go on. And before I close this chapter and we go and pray. Now look at Esau and Jacob. These were 2 men born the same day. I will continue from here next week. Born the same day, born the same time, born from the same womb, and conceived from the same womb, and by the same father. I still don't understand the mystery of twins. I don't understand it yet. Because in my childhood imagination, I used to think maybe the man slept with the woman twice. And then there are 2 conceptions. But I don't understand it, even till now. Whether it's the same encounter, the same, the same encounter between a man and a woman, and then split and became 2 children. I don't know. I think biologists understand. But understand that these 2 children came and they became widely different. Jacob and Esau. Now, Esau laid a very terrible foundation. If you read the book of Hebrews, only lest there be any fornicator or adulterer or profane person like Esau, like Esau, like Esau, who for 1 morsel of bread sold his birthright. Who for 1 morsel of bread sold his birthright. So the Bible compares Esau to a fornicator, to an adulterer. Because in essence, if you could sell a birthright because of hunger, why do you think some men rape? It's because of that. When that passion come upon them, it's like hunger. Sex is like hunger. We have seen cases where soldiers, after they conquer a particular town, they just enter, see any woman they see. Because they have been in the bush for, you got it, hunger. That's why they do a lot of things. And that's why the Bible compare Esau to a Molole and adulterer. Because the adulterer too cannot commit that you have to, in fact, rape another woman. Okay? You rape another woman. I've had terrible cases. Even in offices, it's now happening. Terrible things. And so, in the passion of hunger, Esau could not control himself. And he begged David. And David said, no, on one condition I will give you. That's wrong too, for you to do that to your brother. But then, let us even see. See, on one condition, give me your birthright. Swear to me. And then you will eat as much as. Listen to me, people of God. It's just like we say today. I will give you this money. I will give you this money you are asking for on this condition. I am I'm a promoter of honor. I still believe that a Christian should not go below certain level. A Christian should be able to say no to certain things. What is body? What is how? What is property? And say, oh, just because if you give me this, if you can show out this thing, we will give you this position. You get it? Do you know some of the terrible oaths that people are taking to be fielded as candidates for political party to some cursed godfathers, occultic people? And that's why today, whenever they are in the position of power, they are hamstrung. They can't do good. They are no longer fit because they have made so many allegiances and they are bound and constrained by those allegiances, by those oaths, by those fetish oaths. These are the people governing us. And it's at all departments. Before you have made them deal banks. Nothing is worse solely on merit today in our nation. It is that bad. It's that bad. Even I understand in some denomination now. There are godfather, a friend of mine, is a minister, is a reverend in the Anglican church. I was asking her, you were in this place before, in this parish before. What brought you? He said, sir. He said, the bishop here, my own godfather. You can see that. It's not only Anglican, it's everywhere. Godfather never sleep. That's the motto now in churches. If it's your godfather, you cannot be posted anywhere. Somebody went to complain to a Jew, I won't mention the name. This person told us himself, a popular minister. He has said, sir, I have been posted there, posted there, posted. Why? I have family. Am I a spanner? You throw me here, throw me there. What? And you know what the Jew asked him? He said, who is your godfather? Who is your God? That is it in a ministry, Pentecostal ministry. He said, who is your godfather? And the boy said, Godfather, he was so sure. He said, Jesus is my godfather. And the Jew would laugh. You get it? This is the thing. Okay? This is the thing. This is the stronghold today that people are putting their trust and confidence on. And even this is the tower that men are putting their confidence on in the time. And you think that this thing will save you? In the time of emergency crisis that is coming. Eh? We are building foundation for righteousness. And Savior said, and Esau could not say no because he had no power and control over hunger. He could not say no. He could not control his hunger. He had no power over his appetite. Die if you must die. And he swore, what would the birthright do to me? I'm hungry. And Jacob gave him. Jacob who followed the thing. And the one who need Jacob is wise, is worldly wise. Esau is foolish, worldly foolish. Jacob is innerly wise. And he sold his birthright. And he took it. Jacob took it. Now look at it. Look at the generation that came from Esau. The Edomites, the Amalekites. Just look at the generation. Amalekite was wiped out because they behaved too like vagabonds. Look at the Edomites. Look at all this. See, what you do today will affect your generations, will affect your children. That's the terrible thing about foundational sin. It affects everybody that comes from you. Amalek was destroyed. God said, we have war with Amalek from generation to them because of what they did. They took on the foundation of irresponsibility that their father laid and bitterness and aggression. And look at Jacob, the seed of Jacob. Look at Reuben. It should have been the foundation layer as the firstborn. But again, immorality. So you see why the Bible warns us separately. Why the Bible warns us run away from, flee fornication. Flee fornication. Flee adultery. It removed the heights from Samson. Flee fornication. Flee adultery. Flee it. Run away from it. Go and check it. No notable person came out of Reuben, the tribe of Reuben, because he was cursed. He laid a foundation. He laid the foundation of immorality. He was a patriarch, but he did not lay a solid thing for his family, for his generation. He soiled his foundation with immorality. And he brought a curse upon his generation. He said, none of you will excel. Unstable as water, you shall not excel. Because you defiled my couch, because you went to my, you will not excel. Go and check it. Show me 2 persons, notable person from tribe of Reuben in the whole history of Israel. There is none. There is none. All the great deliverers that came, is he talking of Mordecai, of Esther? They are from Benjamin. They are from the house of Joseph. Is he talking of David, of whatever, of all the kings? They are from Judah. No great man came out of, because he said you will not excel. Why? A foundation of immorality. Please, let immorality not be mentioned in your foundation. Let it not be there. Let it not be there. That you gave another child to another woman when you are known to be married to another woman. Please, let immorality not mention in your story. Let it not enter there.